You're watching Thames Television. Now it's the last in the series of 3 programmes of Thames Snooker Classic.
£2,500 at stake and the William Hill Trophy as we approach the climax of the Thames Snooker Classic 1990. Hello and welcome to a packed arena here at Teddington. More than 2,000 players from 125 clubs across the southeast set out on the trophy trail way back in August, would you believe? Now we're down to the last 2. Apart from the trophy, the prize money and the prestige, the winner has the chance of doubling his earnings if he can beat the world #1 and the world champion, Steve Davis. And Steve, I know you've been practising at the crack of dawn this morning or something like that.
That's right, I was in the studio very early because, of course, I do the commentary along with John Pullman and then come straight from there to the final frame, so need to get my practice in early.
You obviously can't take anyone lightly then, can you, even an amateur?
Not at this standard, because the amateurs now are of professional standard, basically.
And what were you shaping up like in practice? Was it feeling good?
Well, I found out that the pockets were in the corners and the table was green and it's got 8 legs, and that's about right.
The amazing thing is that you practice anyway 5, 6, 7 hours a day, don't you, for tournament play? And even for an event like this, you're still practicing.
Well, that's right, and not just for this event, but also to keep your standard up as high as possible. Just continue to practice every day. You just, hopefully that's the only way you can continue a standard.
OK, well, that challenge match to come a little later, but let's get on with the main business of the day now, the final of the 1990 Thames Snooker Classic. He's from Kidbrooke in southeast London, aged 18, Pat Kenny. And from that famous snooker nursery, the match room at Romford, the 1985 Classic champion, Nicky Lazarus. It's the best of 3 frames. John Pullman and Steve Davis to guide us through it. And here to see fair play, our tournament referee, Len Ganley.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First frame, Pat Kenny to break. Good game, Pat. Good game.
So the one we've all been waiting for, the final of the Thames Snooker Classic. Pat Kenny from Kidbrooke, southeast London, versus Nicky Lazarus from Romford. And this final, the best of 3 frames for the William Hill Trophy and a cheque for £2,500. That's a very good way to start any final. A fluke with his very first shot. Nicky Lazarus, the 1985 winner of this competition, gets off to a good start.
Six. Seven.
I was going to say if he brings the cue ball back, he should be on a red into the corner pocket, but he hadn't done that.
12.
Looks as if he's content to just play a safety stroke now.
Nicky Lazarus, 12.
Nicky Lazarus off to an early 12-point lead. A very good defensive stroke there to just nestle into the pack. All perfectly safe.
Foul stroke.
Not much you could do about that. The pot was obviously dead straight. Unfortunately, followed the red through into the pocket, so it gives 4 points away. And Pat Kenny there at 18, 6 years younger than his opponent, Nicky Lazarus. Nicky obviously far more experience. He won the 1985 Cockney Classic, as it was then known as, this tournament. And regularly practices with the man that's sitting beside me in the commentary box. None other than world champion Steve Davis. So you know a bit about Nick's play.
That's right, John. Not too aware of how good Pat actually is, but he's done very well to get to this final. Escaped very well in the first match and played a hell of a lot better in the second and looked very composed.
Pat Kenny, 1.
And both of them hoping to carve a career for themselves in the professional game of snooker. Oh, and that's a mistake. What damage has been done here? Looks like a very good opening for Nicky Lazarus.
One. Eight. 9. 16. 17.
'Interested spectator there, Nicky Lazarus' father, Mark Lazarus, former professional footballer.
25.
On the pink into the middle, but unfortunately not quite the right angle for getting nicely onto the red, so not too bad. I thought it was slightly different from that. So the break at 31 now, and still possibilities.
31. 32. Nicky Lazarus. One. Eight. Nine.
And Pat Kenny will feel the better for potting 2 or 3 balls and get his cue arm moving.
$16.
23 points adrift now, and looks as if this red will go into the middle pocket. It's the one he played to get on, obviously.
17.
He plays these middle pocket shots pretty well.
$23. Yellow ball.
Well, that's 1 fluke each in this game, John.
26.
From Pat, it might be a bit more timely, but he's still got to pot these 2 reds.
$27.
So as we come to the last red, just 8 points the difference.
31.
Hasn't really got any sort of position, maybe trying the double, or could play the safety shot behind the blue.
Pat deciding on safety, just 8 points behind. Nicky potted the last yellow and red to extend his lead to 11, and that's where we rejoin the match. He's on the green.
Brought the cue ball up to the top end of the table, split the brown and blue slightly. How's he got the snooker?
Difficult to see from here, but it could be dangerous for Nicky. Pat can obviously pot this. Could knock the blue away and the brown and blue together there. Well, a very good shot and slightly unlucky, I feel. Didn't really know exactly what was going to happen, but made a good effort to split the two balls. But I think from the position he's in, there's a very good chance of a snooker off the bottom and side cushions behind the blue, sending the brown up the table. Bit short of pace there.
3.
Nicky with the slight advantage, 8 points in front, which means he needs 2 balls to win. Pat needs the lot.
So this final, the best of 3 frames, so it's all important to win this first frame. And here's a chance. Well, that should be the frame winner. Just needs the blue to make Pat Kenny require snookers.
Nine.
Well, in goes the pink, and it's Nicky Lazarus who leads by 1 frame to 0.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Second frame. Nicky Lazarus to break.
Leading by 1 frame to 0 in this 3-frame final. Nicky Lazarus breaks off in frame 2.
Very high standard of snooker being produced here. Very little to choose between the players in the first frame. Tremendous shot there. Fully appreciated by this very knowledgeable crowd.
And that first good red has created quite a good opportunity for Pat Kenny.
9.
Extremely good player, just 18 years of age. from Kidbrooke in southeast London. Had the highest break in competitive play of 106.
16.
Now, obviously, no mean performer. Oh dear, he'll be disappointed
16.
there.
Pat Kenny.
Excellent chance. Frittered away. Well, I didn't expect to be back in quite so soon, I would think. A nice easy red into the middle for starters.
One.
Pat Kenny's first real introduction into competitive snooker was on a family holiday at Pontins, where he won a competition and finished up playing Ray Reardon, and that gave him a taste for the game.
Five.
Pat just checking there to see if he can get through to the black from where he's decided to try and leave the white ball. Obviously didn't go from there, so back for the lower colours. And with the black ball being covered by that red, it's made the positional side of the game slightly more difficult. With 3 or 4 loose reds, going to have some problems soon. I'm sure Pat will be very pleased with this start.
Nine.
It looks as if the pink might go. There's plenty of room for that, but he's also got the blue, and that's the one he prefers.
May have overscrewed that, John.
14. 15.
And Pat's certainly putting very well in this second frame. There's a lead now of 31 points. Of course, he's got to win this frame to stay alive.
Well, a very confident shot there.
15. Pat Kenny.
Yes, it looks, Steve, as if fortune favours the brave, though, because I don't think he's left anything on.
No, and a 31-point lead. Very useful. Cutting off one half of the table with the yellow. But there is a chance of the long pot red round the back of the black to safety.
One.
And as you remarked earlier, Steve, it's a very, very high standard here from these two players. Probably the best final we've seen in this competition.
Yes, John, both these players, of course, ambitions to be professional snooker players.
Pat Kenny. One.
And as I've said many times, there really isn't that much difference. Possibly a little bit more consistency, but that comes with a bit more experience at the top level of the game anyway. And these players are very close to that, if not already there.
Yes,
Ball
it
stroke.
sounds to me,
Hot
Steve, as if you're trying to give yourself an out in case you lose against the winner of this match.
Exactly, John. No damage done there by Nicky. I thought for a minute Len may call a miss, but he decided against it.
No great problems here, just a little trundle into the pack. Shouldn't do any damage.
Actually just having a bit of fun there myself. The miss rule is a very, very dangerous rule to interpret, and the referees have a very difficult job in working out what is considered a miss and what isn't. I think that just sizing up a plant here, I think. Thought he was going to be playing safe.
One.
The miss rule at the moment is something along the lines of, if in the referee's opinion, a player hasn't made a shot in keeping with the standard of the player, whatever that means. Or the standard of the game. And the standard Pat's producing at the moment in this second frame is very encouraging for his fans and supporters. Looks a lot more steady, a lot more confident than things were going against him in the first frame.
Yes, from the position of the balls now, Steve, with a 49-point lead, he could very well win the frame from this visit.
14.
Everything out in the open.
Yes, he'll be upset with himself if he gives Nicky a chance to win the frame here.
$21. $22. $29. $30.
So already past the point where Nicky Lazarus requires snooker, so this second frame virtually over now.
37.
The match tied at one frame all, and what an exciting last frame we have to look forward to. Tremendous stuff by these two players.
38.
And Nicky Lazarus there really hasn't had a look in the second frame. And Pat Kenny, on the other hand, going from strength to strength.
44.
When you think, John,
45.
it was Pat that was down and out, and 44 points behind with one red left on the table in his first match against Michael Pace, and survived a miracle to get through, and now has a great chance of winning this classic.
Oh, and what a pity he missed that black. That would have put him into the money. Over a 50 break, gets £1 a point. Oh, 81 points the difference. Only a possible 35 on the table, without snookers, that is. So, no chance whatsoever of Nicky Lazarus winning this second frame. And this young man is potting everything at the moment.
Six. Eight. $11.
Well, this is really some fantastic snooker.
20. And the
So,
second
frame
frame.
conceded, and in fantastic style, Pat Kenny levels the match at one frame all.
Welcome back to the deciding frame of this thrilling final. One frame all, no points scored. Who dare predict the outcome? It's Nicky at the table.
Well, this is certainly a tremendous final. A perfectly played stroke there from Nicky. Perhaps a little straighter on the black than he would like. Can't get the cue ball out as easy as he might have done. Got out far enough.
The stake now. On the opponent.
$16. 17.
Now has to look for another red, possibly the one on the right into the middle pocket. Coming back for what may look like a two-ball plant into the same pocket that he's just putted the black.
24. Nicky Lazarus.
Well, it wasn't the wrong shot to go for, and how close it was meant it stayed in the jaws of the pocket.
1.
Slightly lost control of the white ball there, but still should have no trouble potting this black. Now left himself a problem. The red, not too difficult, but won't be too sure of exactly how the white ball's going to cannon into the balls or whether it'll miss the black. I mean, the worry of that was quite a long way away from the pot. So both players giving up opportunities early on in the frame. reverting back to a bit more safety. Obviously a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations from their friends and fans and family, and £2,500 at stake.
Yes, I don't suppose either of them have played a frame of snooker for £2,500, Steve, so that's a big occasion.
Good shot there from Pat Kenny, nowhere near as reckless as it may have looked. Pot come safety, lots of deep screw on that shot. Both these young players got very good composure. Obviously a lot of experience around the London scene on the amateur circuit. Once again, a similar shot there from Nicky Lazarus. Not easy to play safe from the red in the balk area. And probably left the safety advantage to Nicky now.
Yeah, it's a very good chance of getting that cue ball down behind green and yellow.
Actually, I think Pat may have made a mistake there with the safety shot. If he'd have played the red to the left of the table, as we look now, and played to the top cushion, he may have had not so many problems as he's got now. He'll probably be able to manufacture some type of safety shot from this position. Very well judged. Has left possibilities, I think, of pots, but would require pulling one out of the bag, I feel, for Nicky. Difficult to see whether there's a red that goes into the middle pocket from there. And also debatable whether he'll play the long red into the top right-hand corner pocket. Wisely taking his time, not rushing into anything.
Yes, of course that red down at the Vulcan causing problems. Don't want to leave that on. Well, successfully moved that and got out of it pretty well. Developing now into one of those awkward frames where the safety zone is the top cushion. Two reds in the balk area now. That may not be too much of an advantage because he's got the cue ball very close to the top cushion. It's rather difficult for him to play a safety straight now. Come back off the black towards the top cushion. He's played that beautifully. Absolutely perfectly.
One, Nicky Lazarus.
Very well judged there from Nicky Lazarus. Actually put himself in a lot of trouble with that clever shot he played in off the red. Got the chance now, Pat, of rolling this into the middle. Well, that's an excellent shot. Not a lot Nicky could do to that. He played as good a shot as he possibly could there. Pat just slotted it in the middle. Good chance now for Pat. Playing for what looks like
8.
2 reds that go into the middle pocket.
9.
And looking very fluent.
Well, this is as good an opportunity as you could possibly hope for. There, the match absolutely all square now. 1 frame each, 25 points each in the third.
Well, he's been unlucky
24.
there. Should have been on a ball. Perhaps didn't put enough side on the white ball, so cannoned into the reds, and there was a little bit of luck attached to where the white ball finished up. Possibly trying the double here.
Pat Kenny, 24.
Pat may be disappointed not to make more of that break, but still ahead for the first time in the match. As we move on, the score's the same, but nearly all the reds now at the baulk end. It's Nicky to play.
And that's what's known as a mess down at the bottom end of the table.
Not a military one. So this looks like a straightforward safety stroke from the red close to the middle pocket there, down the table and back. Oh, he could cut it in fact. I didn't think that was on. What about the cue ball?
1.
Mr. Beater too there, I would think.
Also looks to have good position on the blue. Off the top cushion, around the back of the pink, and down for a choice of reds. No screwing it in. Played on only 1 red there, which is the one nearest the green.
6. 7.
And things once again looking a little bit ominous for Nicky Lazarus. 5 reds down there in the baulk end, and they're all out in the open. They're all potable.
10.
If he keeps down in this area, he'll need to pot quite a few of these reds to make the game safe for himself.
11.
Well, slightly unlucky.
15.
But a useful lead. And Nicky must be wondering after a good start whether the game's going to slip away for him. He hasn't done a lot wrong at all. This has just been an excellent match. 2 very high quality players.
Pat Kenny.
Well, that wasn't a particularly good safety stroke. Pat shaking his head there. A good pot here could put Nicky Lazarus well back into this frame. Got to take this one on. He hasn't gone. Or has it? Oh, what a time to get a fluke. Might easily have left that red right over the pocket. Nicky Lazarus, 21 points adrift at this moment. 3 reds left after the blue.
Large amount of side on that shot. Came down well. Would have liked to have been on the one near the red. Got a bit too far, a foot further on. And hasn't really got the nicest of positional shots off the red. We'll have to try and probably blast his way out of the balk end of the table. I'm not too sure whether the shot's straight or he's got a slight angle probably so that the white ball will hit just before. No, he's going for another one.
False stroke.
But he was a long way away from the pot. Didn't play a particularly good stroke there. Perhaps a few nerves creeping in, perhaps. We're getting towards the end of this match. There's 3 reds left on the table. Pat Kenny with a 20-point lead.
Well, it's getting nervous out there. A couple of reds needed from Pat, and he would have been nearly home and dry.
31, Pat Kenny, 51.
Nicky just hanging on in there, 20 points adrift.
One.
Not a good positional shot there. We'll take the long blue on and screw back for position on the reds. It's a very important ball for Nicky Lazarus.
6. 7.
Well, once again, the positional side of the stroke going a little bit astray.
Yes, Johnny tried, I think, to screw back across the face of the brown. Nearly made it. He may well have been wiser to just play for the brown in the middle pocket there. I'm not too sure of the exact angle. Left himself a tricky little shot if he decides to play the brown and cut the brown.
Pink ball.
Looks as if he's attempting to put the cue ball behind the black.
7.
Not quite hard enough.
Nicky Lazarus.
13 points in the game, and the yellow and the green not in easy potable positions. Caught that one a bit thin.
Well, that's obviously not a very clever thing to do with the last red. But yellow, green and pink are in awkward positions here, so not easy to clear up.
1.
And once again has finished rather in no man's land.
Yes, Nicky tried to hold there for the black. And I think the wise shot now would be to dislodge the pink from the top cushion. Try to snooker behind the black, moving the pink into play, because Nicky's still 12 points behind. Actually needs the pink ball to win. Deciding on moving the green instead. Trying to snooker behind the brown. Maybe a better shot. Doesn't want it in the pocket. He'll be very upset with that.
4.
It's exactly what he wanted to leave, Pat. Not pleased.
Isn't it amazing, Steve, the things that can happen at this game of snooker? You could play that shot 1,000 times and not pot the green like that.
4, Nicky Lazarus.
Yes, decided against rolling onto the yellow and tried to get the two balls further apart, but this is a definite chance for Pat Kenny. May have a little bit of trouble reaching this one. So Pat Kenny goes 11 points in front.
Which means, of course, Steve, that if he puts the green and brown, Nicky Lazarus can still tie with the blue, pink and black.
5.
Looking at the scores, needs the blue, would rather just pot the brown on its own and not worry about the position. This makes the brown slightly more difficult. 3 cushions, I think. Decided to dolly it in.
9.
So one good pot here could settle this final. Playing it into the corner pocket. And that seems to be the frame and match winner. He's trundled this pink over the hole, and Nicky Lazarus will be in dead trouble. What a tremendous final this has been. And what a great win for Pat Kenny. He becomes the 1990 Thames Snooker Classic champion.
Very well done indeed. My goodness, that was a tremendous match. You didn't start off too well.
No, well, I thought I'd let someone else go in front for now and try and come back. I'm used to coming back all the time, so...
When you think back to that quarter-final where I forget how many points behind you were, but it was a heck of a lot.
Well, I remember...
Several snookers required.
I remember Lee last year when he was behind, in one, I think it was his quarter-final match, and he come back and ended up winning the tournament. So I was just thinking like that.
Well,
I would have come back, you know, I thought I could do it now.
Was it really Ray Reardon who inspired you? Because you played him, didn't you, at a Pontins
It was, yeah.
tournament?
I played him as a 14-year-old. I'd only been playing the game 2 weeks. I knocked in a 50 break and missed a black for a clearance. And he said to me, carry on. He said, I look forward to seeing you in the future. So I took it up from there.
Marvellous. One final question. What are you going to do with the money?
Treat my family. Treat my family.
So a holiday at Pontins?
Might be another one, yeah. I'm looking forward to playing Ray again. I fancy beating him now. Fancy beating him this time. So
You have, of course, got the chance of doubling that.
yeah, I look forward to that. Should be interesting.
Right, well, let's bring in the gallant loser, shall we? Nicky Lazarus, do you want to come over for a second? Nicky Lazarus, ladies and gentlemen. Can I say very, very bad luck, but thank you for a wonderful final. And the way you started off, you must have thought 1985 was coming back again.
Yeah, I started off quite good. I didn't put a ball in the second frame, did I? I think
No, it was 100-odd nil, wasn't it? Second frame.
that's what happens if you don't put a ball, you score nil.
So you were right. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the third frame, could have gone either way really. I didn't want the green to go in.
No,
Obviously.
that was very bad luck, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then wow. Well,
You're obviously
it cleared
disappointed,
up.
but it was a tremendous match, although it might not feel like it from your point of view at the moment.
No, I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you both very much indeed. And now for the moment they've been waiting for, the presentation of the awards to be made by Don Payne, who's the head of media and public relations at William Hill. First of all, for the losing finalist, Nicky Lazarus, a cheque for £500. And for the new champion, Pat Kenny, £2,500 and the William Hill Trophy.